So literally words of affirmation, like manifestation, things like that.
Gotcha.
And I know a lot of people look at manifesting and stuff like as devil's work or non-Christian. That's completely untrue. Like, overall, my beliefs have definitely changed. But that's with me building a relationship with God. Also getting more into the Bible, going to a church that I really believe speaks to my soul.
If you could ask God one question and get a clear answer, what would you ask? Okay, what's good, family? Welcome back to Relationship Wise. Happy Tuesday. I got my homegirl, Taylor back again for some more. Stop playing. I don't even know I'm around. But man, today we're going to talk a little bit or a lot of it about God, religion, things like that. So y'all stay tuned. But before we get started, Taylor, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm very tired, actually. But I'm doing good and just came from like a week-long cruise for the most part. My first one, and it was on Carnival.
Yeah. Party cruise.
Party cruise.
Yeah.
It definitely did not disappoint, but yet my old ass. No, it was really good. So I feel refreshed. I'm ready for the Super Bowl tomorrow. And I said tomorrow.
You good?
Well, technically... We know the Chiefs are going to win. So congrats to the Chiefs for winning. I know y'all play technically tomorrow, but this episode airs Tuesday.
She tripping. The Eagles going to win.
Chiefs, Congrats Mahomes on your 3P. I will be wearing my shirt. I was going to wear my shirt today, but I was like, let me not be extra. Let me pop out and show niggas tomorrow. So,
you're funny. No, I feel you. Funny enough, I might have to put that part because, as I was thinking about this, I was like, I might drop like a preview of that part tomorrow and then like let it be what it is. So to see how that does. We'll see.
Congrats, Chiefs.
Congrats, Eagles. You tripping. Listen, stop playing. So Taylor reminded me kindly that I said I was gonna do more about numbers. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. I'm over here trying to look for. Let's talk about our personal destiny numbers. So let me go to page 121. Again, this book, y'all, I ain't gonna hold you. This book is by Lloyd Strayhorn. Okay, Numbers in You on all socials. It's a dope book. Go ahead, listen. And he a Black author. Stop playing. Y'all need to get with it. All right. So let's say you're trying to find your personal destiny number, right? What you do is you add your birth month. So for me, it's 8 because August.
Me too.
August, right? Your birth date, I'm the 10th. You're the 11th, right? And the birth year. And hold on, do I want to give everybody my whole birth year, my whole birthday? We'll figure it out. But to make life simple, y'all, my life path or my destiny path is a 3, right? And I believe, let me do the mental calculations in your head or my head. In your head. All right, 8. So,
and get my birth year right.
Yeah, I know. I was like, hold up. So, no, you good.
I'm just gonna do it for me because
your life path is a 6.
How do you determine that?
Your destiny number. So you add up.
Which I did.
Let me see. Yeah. So now add all those up. That plus that plus that.
Okay.
There's a 6.
All right, teacher. Go ahead.
Now listen, I've been doing this for a minute, okay? So let's start with my life path, and then we'll talk about Taylor's, right? So, a destiny 3, or destiny number 3, you must learn to be cheerful. Facts, because I used to be a W-ass, down-ass nigga. I ain't gonna hold you. Cheerful, really? Optimistic. When I was like, listen, before you met me, I was a different nigga. Trust me. The whole move for me going to charter was crazy.
I remember that move because when you planted at charter, everyone was like, "Who is this?" And I was just like, "Who is that?"
Yo, it was crazy. But even my whole demeanor was, I was pessimistic. I hated everything because I felt like I had a choice in the matter and I didn't.
Oh, okay.
And I was uprooted in the middle of 10th grade. I can see if like I started in 9th grade. I can see.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a little awkward for me, right? Mm-hmm. So cheerful, optimistic, sociable, confident, conscientious, proud, creative, and articulate. I think I'm doing all right. Oh, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. I got to learn not to be superficial.
You think you're superficial?
I could. Let me go down the list before, because I'm like,
I think we all have our moments, so I wouldn't call you superficial.
Nah, superficial, not to be dictatorial, vain, boastful, pessimistic, extravagant. And gossiping, right? So I did have to learn not to be pessimistic, boastful. I always kind of been humble. Vain. I can be quite not in like the physical sense. Well, kind of in the physical sense. Back in high school, I used to be very much a pretty boy, but even in the sense of like doing things to make myself look like the good guy, I have that. That vanity is there. Let's not flake. Okay. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's that. Extravagant, gossiping. I never considered myself a gossip until recently. I had a somebody like say, yeah, you got to be mindful of that. I was like, I never considered myself that because I don't be gossiping, but in the right environment or the wrong environment.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, if you're speaking a fact or a truth, is that really gossiping?
No, but
maybe it depends on the audience.
That and plus properly keeping someone's confidence and knowing what their confidence is, even if they don't tell you directly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That can be gossiping without question, right? So I had to work on that. I had to tighten. I was like, oh, my bad. Okay. All right. So Taylor is a 6, a destiny number 6, right? You must learn to be responsible.
That's check.
Magnetic. All right.
Check.
Dependable.
Check.
Kind, affectionate, artistic, friendly, a helper to those in need. Oh yeah. No, you all checks. Okay. You feel me? Stop playing. Clock it. Stop it. But yeah.
Do that
now. Yo. All right. So you must learn not to be stubborn. Is this word? Is it obstinate? OBSTINATE. That's obstinate. I don't know what that means.
Well, we might as well just look it up.
You feel me? All right. Slow to decide. Learn not to be slow to decide. Okay.
Obstinate. I'm sorry. Stubbornly refusing to change one's opinion or chosen course of action despite attempts to persuade one to do so.
Okay. Slow to decide. Yeah. I think you're all right with that. Irresponsible, interfering, and unyielding. Interfering, I don't know. I mean, you never. Do you don't get in nobody's business, or you don't ever?
No. No. If unyielding? I ever do get in someone's business, I will always ask.
Okay.
First, because I actually did that over the cruise. I was like, "Do you want me to do this?" Because.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You know what? Yeah, go ahead." And I was like, "Okay." So I'll get in someone's business like that. Unyielding. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I'm very stuck on something, like very stuck, like white on rice type stuff.
Yeah.
It is very, very hard for me to.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
I'll
listen.
I'm like that too, but yeah, I'm listening.
Let me not say that. I'll hear you. I don't know if I'm listening. But I hear you though. But I am working on that because there's a million different ways to do one thing.
Yeah.
So I am working on that. But listen, when I'm stuck.
Yes.
Ooh.
Listen, I feel you. Ooh. Yeah, because when I get stuck, I'll be like, and then my mind fixate on it, and then I stay there.
Well,
and
we're Leo's, Terrell. We have the same birthday, technically.
Basically,
so I understand. If not anybody else, I get it because.
Listen.
There's a lot of conversation happening right now.
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's talk about your personal journey and understanding about God, religion. So the first question is, was there a specific moment or event that shaped your current understanding of God?
Oh, for sure. Oh, you want me to elaborate? I'll gladly elaborate.
Oh, yeah. Please.
So just giving a little background, I grew up in I wouldn't say a predominantly Christian household. Like, we my parents believe in God, everything like that.
Right.
So I grew up in church. I even went to a Christian school from first grade to 8th grade, I want to say. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that it was that long. Because I know you told me about the school, but I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah, first grade to 8th grade, Florida Bible Christian School. Hey, it's no longer in existence, but it was definitely a very colorful school in so many ways. So you know, I knew who God is or was, however you want to place it. I know God, but I didn't really have a relationship with God. So I think the turning point for me, like when I really started to get a relationship or build a relationship with the Lord, I was in high school and I was just really, it was definitely a situation that happened. I'm not going to go into detail about that because it's really nothing, but just a situation that happened and I was just so broken. I was just like, oh my God. And my mom had this book and it's called, believe it or not, I love the book so much, but for some reason I can't remember the name. For obvious reasons. Can't remember the name, but it's called Wisdom. Oh my gosh. It's a book called Wisdom by Florence. Oh my gosh. I'm going to get the book. I'm going to get the book name, but it was literally called Wisdom. And pretty much what the book is just how you speak to yourself. So literally words of affirmation, like manifestation, things like that. And I know a lot of people look at manifesting and stuff like as devil's work or non-Christian. That's completely untrue. Like if you really read the Bible, which we'll get into because a lot of people don't, if you really read the Bible, literally words have power. Like there's power in the tongue. Like it literally says that. So that book literally was just talking about ways to connect to God through your words. And it just really moved me. And I just started to do that. And I was like, okay, negativity is not working for me because I'm miserable. I'm unhappy. I'm low-key depressed. So let me actually just practice this. And I started off small. I did it with a party that I really wanted to go to. And my mom is strict, y'all. Okay. She was just like, no parties, no this. And it was a house party too with some like older high school people that really shouldn't have been in high school. And I was like, okay, no, I'm going to this party. I'm going to this party. And surprisingly, she said yes. And I was like, look at God work. Right. But you know, again, small thing, whatever, but just that whole book really changed my life. And I started to really communicate with God more, XYZ. And then when college came, I fell off, but then I got back on because when God moves you, when he talks to you, like I don't know about you, but you just feel this thing and you just listen.
Yeah. Without question. I mean, I feel you. And I think we do have similar stories in that way. And that's the part where I was talking about where I said I was pessimistic. It was in high school. And around the time that I first got to charter it was just tumultuous fun, nigga. Like, God, it was crazy for a lot of reasons, right? So, and I think because I had a whole bunch of childhood traumas popping up all at the same time, and then a crazy change, I was like, nigga, what is going on right now? So to kind of put it into context real quick, my mom moved me from Miramar to charter. She told me that she applied me, put me in the little lottery system.
Listen, that was, I think you, when I tell you me and Terrell are twins, I feel like my mom or your mom probably had like 2 babies and they separated us because our stories are so similar. Because I was in the lottery for charter too. And literally I randomly moved from Florida Bible to charter and I didn't know nobody. Well, I knew like 2 people, but I didn't really talk to them. But
trying to tell you. So funny story though, enough. I went to charter in 5th grade, right? And then my mom, we moved away to to Fort Myers and then came back and then so I was in public school.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, for a year. It was like a year. So we moved, Lehigh, but it was Fort Myers, but it was close enough. Anyway, so we moved away for my 6th grade year. We came back when I was in 7th grade, started in public school from then on. Shout out New Renaissance Middle, feel me? Stop playing. And then Miramar, shout out to Miramar. And then middle of 10th grade, or 10th grade, I think she does a lottery. Yeah, between late 9th grade, 10th grade, she does a lottery. Cool. I get there. What was so crazy was I thought I had a choice in the matter. My brother, the same day that she pulled me out, my brother got in trouble and I think he got like suspended for like a couple of days or something. So I'm thinking the reason why she wanted to move me is because my brother, and then I'm telling you, tumultuous. Okay, it was crazy. So that happened. I get a charter. I had a extremely bad attitude. People was like, "Yo, bro, you should just come sit with us." I'm like, "Nah, I'm cool." Because in my mind,
you weren't trying to stay.
I wasn't trying to stay. My dad was low-key gaslighting me. He was like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna take you out. You're gonna be able to go back to your bar." I graduated from charter. Stop it. What is it, 2.5 years later?
You definitely did.
So that was that. And I was when I first got there, I had a real bad attitude. I was extremely pessimistic. And I think during that time is when I had to literally start figuring out God for myself. Because every Friday night I'd go to church. And even church was like losing its grip on me in a sense. Like I'll ask inquisitive questions. I'll ask all of the cheeky teenage questions and never got a real answer. And I was really upset by that. And I ain't gonna hold y'all. I was a whole atheist for like 3 days because I was mad at what one person said about God, about the Bible. I was like, bro, okay, you know what? Let me not judge an entire religion based on one man who's not Christ. Like, you know what I mean? That's not fair. Right. So I said, you know what? Let me just sit down and pray. So I said, God, I want to know you. I'm not sure what this thing over here is, like religion, what people are talking about, but I really want to know you. And then I started getting signs. I was like, oh, okay. And I got 3 signs, which
we know 3 is a beautiful number. Yeah, it's very
Trinity, stop. Oh, okay. All right. So I got 3 different separate signs, and within like about, let's say, the time frame of a week. And the biggest one that popped out to me was they used to have like, the smoke messages from planes. So if anybody knows the area of Miramar, you know about North Pearl Airport, about whatever. So the last sign that I got was that it says, do you know that God is always either above you or always watching? And I said, okay. All right, guys.
All right, Lord, I'm listening.
So now you got my attention. I know you're real. Let me not play on your top number. Let me lock in. So I said, okay, yeah, God is definitely real. So ever since then, I was like, okay, so how do I understand you now? So that's the journey we on. You know what I mean? So yeah. So that was the first moment. You know what I mean? So. Because
there's a lot of moments with God, for sure.
Oh, what?
I have stories for days.
Facts. Literally. Facts. So the next question is, have your beliefs about God changed over time? And if so, what caused those to change?
For sure. For sure. Because back, like, I guess when God was introduced to me, through parents, church, etc., I think what we all have to realize is that the Bible, and please, nobody come for me because I did not send for you. The Bible is so broad. So you can really interpret it, sadly but gladly, in so many different ways. Right. In all honesty. So there are certain things that I believed that was supposedly in the Bible that really isn't.
Can you give me one example just for clarity? Okay.
So the one I always use, and like I said, don't come for me, nobody. Even if you do, oh well, because I don't care. Do you see, this is where the unyielding will come in. That's where it comes in. Right. So, the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah. And a lot of people always make it out to seem that, it's because of homosexuality and this and that, when that's actually not even the case. It was because priests were like literally sodomizing young boys and young girls and just doing very unethical things to children. It literally had nothing, believe it or not, to do with homosexuality. I mean, naturally, priests and boys and stuff like that. But it was more of the action, the intention behind it. If that makes sense, than that actual action. Like, I don't know how to really say that. But again, people made it seem like, oh, well, God punished that whole city, because of homosexuality. That's why, gays and this and that. It's just like, oh, that's really not, that's not true. And then when you actually do more history on the Bible, especially since it was written in a dead language, and on top of that, the version that came to bring the Bible to what it is was King James. Right. And not only was King James a supposed strong advocate for no homosexuality, whatever, he was actually a homosexual himself.
I've heard that.
So it was
I got some people who would hate to hear you say that, but yes, I'm sorry.
No, trust me, I know, because I have these discussions with people all the time. But again, that's where their unyielding and my unyielding will come in, because you know, it is what it is. Like, again, you can sadly and I guess gladly morph the Bible in a lot of different ways. But like I said, I use that story because that's how I grew up. Like, homosexuality, sin, and it's just like, no, that's not really the case. If we're being honest, that's not really what it was. That's not why he did what he did to that city.
Right. Yeah, because it was a whole bunch of shit going on though.
It was a lot.
It wasn't just it was that. I know, because from what I was reading, or I remember in the story, I remember God was literally telling, is it Lot? The character, yeah. So or the person in the Bible, he was telling Lot, he was like, look, hey bro, go find me 100 people. Lot couldn't find 100 people. He came back to God, he's like, God, please. He said, Lot, go find 50 people. And this kept happening back and forth. So he says, Lot, okay, fine.
You find and your one family.
Person. Find one person.
Yeah.
Outside of your family. Lot couldn't find one person. And then,
Then he said his family. And then God told Lot and his family, do not turn around. And what did that wife do? And she turned into a pillar of salt.
Right.
Yeah. You know, and just like gluttony, people... It's like the 7 deadly sins, gluttony. Oh, because you eat too much. No, it's about hoarding. It's about hoarding treasures, good money, all the above. You know what I'm saying? The Bible also says, you know, you shouldn't put interest on loans and all the above. And yet look at our lovely God-filled American government putting interest on our loans and stuff like that. But yet you want to be God-centered. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Full of hypocrites, but that's besides the point, child. But yeah.
Right.
But yes, overall, my beliefs have definitely changed. But that's with me building a relationship with God. Also getting more into the Bible, going to a church that I really believe speaks to my soul. And then on top of that, really talking to God. Because I think people, they do the prayers, they do the church thing, and that's cool. But a lot of people do not have a relationship. Like it's a big difference. You're checking the boxes, but the main box that honestly really matters, you're not doing.
Right.
Which is to have like that authentic communication. Like not prayer, just like, I don't know, just talking. It's a big difference.
Right. To be on, I guess, one accord or be in alignment with is different from simply just believing and going. Yeah. Facts. Big facts. I guess the same, right? I think even for the longest time, I threw the Bible out with the bathwater, for lack of a better phrase, right? So it took me a minute to understand it, like how you're explaining, because for me, I was like, well, when the Bible say this, it don't make sense, and I started actually reading it for myself, learning to try to understand, as you said, it's even though it might give you a passage, a sermon, whatever, the Bible is extremely layered, right? It's multi-dimensional.
And there's more chapters that are known but are not in the Bible.
Right. Exactly. Like Book of Enoch or Book of Simon.
Especially Enoch.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Whatever. But there's like a lot, And there's still more missing. Right.
So to once you understand that, and plus just the history behind it of knowing, like, even before King James, you had the Council of Nicaea in 325. They came together and literally like put all the decided what books would stay out, what they would put in, and then they kind of literally romanticized the Bible because they made it a Roman construct, and then that was taken out context and And
then remember, there were no printers back in the day, obviously. So you're talking about like people who didn't know how to read, didn't even know how to write, but they were just mimicking words. And, you know, like if I was one of them, I would have skipped over a few passages like.
Right. But see, but we have like, you know, we have the bits and pieces from what they left out, or excuse me, or what they left in rather. So, you know what I mean? So, and I understand like, okay, cool. You an emperor, you a king, you feel like you got to do what you got to do, but come on. Tighten up. We know it's more to God than just what's in this book right here.
Literally.
You know what I mean? So, you know, just knowing that history and knowing that the human fingerprints that are on it, I had to be careful with, again, not throwing the Bible out with the bathwater, because I had to say, hold up. On some level, this couldn't be here unless God needed it to be. So,
right. I think the Bible is definitely a blueprint.
Right.
For sure. It's a blueprint all the way. it's just like it's a blueprint for 1,000 millions, billions of buildings. That's just like the structure that's needed to make sure the building can stand and is successful. That's what I believe the Bible is. However, buildings can be all different shapes, sizes, creeds, you name it. Like look at the buildings that we have just all over the world. You know, you got tall, you got long, you got short, you got stubby, you got you got wide, you got ranch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, like, but in order for all these buildings to stand and be sustained in all the above, this is the blueprint that everybody should follow, should use. And that's how I look at the Bible.
Right. Okay. And I think it's important too, because what I also did when I started to try to come into a better understanding of God is that I allow God to show me how he existed outside of what the paradigm of what everybody else should see or how people think God is supposed to exist. And I think that's the big thing right there. Yeah. Because a lot of people be like, oh yeah, well no, God can't be this, God can't be that. I'm like, well, time out. I
get so annoyed at that.
If God came to Moses in a burning bush, dog, please don't tell me how. Please don't tell me the way.
A burning bush.
Please don't tell me nothing about how God can exist.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Like when people say that they find God in nature, they you know, like I believe it.
Right.
What's wrong with that? But people, I just feel like the people who are judging, like, tell me how God shows himself to you, please. And if you can't really tell me, then I don't want to hear it. Like, in all honesty, everyone's different. Right. And I feel like people put limits on God, which really irks my nerves.
That's the thing. I think that's one of my hugest arguments about religion. People try to, there's nothing wrong with religion because as a teacher, I understand. Like a structure. Yes, it's a structure. Like everybody learns in their style of learning, and religion is a style of learning for certain people. So I'm like, cool. You a visual learner, but you need a visual. You need a book. You need a, you know what I mean? You need that. I get it. Some people literally have to move. Some people literally have to hear. Some people need a combination of things. You know what I mean? So I said, okay, I understand the purpose of religion. Because for a while in my life, I would bash religion, not understanding its need or its use. And I said, hold up. God taught to you this way. You can't tell God how to talk to other people. Right. So let's not be hypocritical. Let's be mindful. Let's be demure.
Let's not use it as a crutch.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah. Let's see. Next question. So what do you think about people's perception of God, right? So do you believe God is actively involved in people's lives or more distant and detached?
I don't think God is ever distant and detached. What I really feel is God has given us the greatest gift of life, which is choice. So although there are some people who are atheists, or they simply don't, because I know there's like a difference between atheists and like other things, agnostic, like something like that. I don't know, child. Yeah. But regardless, you know, you have some people who just simply don't believe in God at all. They refuse to, like, no, I don't want to hear about your God, the Bible, XYZ. But I think he loves us so much that again, he has given us choice. Right. I don't think that he is distant and detached. I think he really does go after people's hearts. So I just think he's always here when you're ready. Right. Like he's literally like a knock away. Maybe not even a knock, just like a movement. And he's like, hey, I'm here. I knew you were going to come to me. You know, all the above.
Yeah, big facts, yeah.
And then I also really believe that's why we have like karma and like just laws of the universe, to be honest with you, because I always had that burning question like, okay, well, Lord, this person does not believe in you, which is such a tragedy in my opinion, but they don't believe in you, but yet their heart is so good. It's so pure. You know, it's such I would hate for them to be punished, all the above, but I think because God is God and he knows like people sadly will not come to him. He has created a universal law of karma and other things. That way people who don't want to be under his shield, they can still live out a good, promising life. Right. because of their good nature. You know, like, again, there's no limits on God. And I have to keep telling myself that because in my human flesh, I'm like, how is this possible? But then there's a lot of things that have happened to me. Yeah. But I'm just like, Lord, it was because of your thumb. Your print. Okay. Listen. Okay. Yeah, big facts. That's the only way, rhyme, reason as to how I was able to accomplish or do this or do that. Listen, my master's story alone, I have to tell myself that all the time. Like, girl, you know what God did for you for your master's? You right.
So facts. I feel you.
But I don't think God is distant. I really don't. I just think God is is letting things just run its course. Because again, everything is choice.
True.
We all have, and you know, Mike Todd has a great series that he's doing right now. It's called The Decision Before Delilah.
Okay.
Because, you know, the story of Samson and Delilah. And, you know, and he made a very good point because, again, I never thought of it like this. He was like, you know, everyone blames Delilah for Samson's demise and but Samson always had those problems before Delilah. Delilah was just
she was
the cherry on top.
Right. Gotcha.
You know, she was, you know, but he had choices that he made. And because he's so familiar with those choices, that is literally how Delilah was able to get to him. But if he handled his choices from before, him and Delilah would have probably either never crossed paths, and even if they did, he would have made the better choice.
Gotcha.
So, you know, when he explained it like that, and again, this is me really paraphrasing it, but I was like, oh my gosh. Right.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like Samson was perfect, and then Delilah came and then messed everything up. It was... You know, Samson, the signs, the trials, the tribulations have always been there.
Yeah.
You just never got caught up.
And Delilah had your ass caught.
And
stop playing.
Because he had like the Nazarites pledge, I think. And one thing was like he couldn't touch dead things. Next to cutting his hair, he couldn't touch dead things. But then before he met Delilah, he killed a lion, if I'm not mistaken. He killed something. It was a lion. He killed a lion. And then I think the next day he came back and there was like sweet honey, like something like bees. It was, again, y'all got to read it. Listen. But like there was something in the lion that he went to it and he grabbed that sweetness. I really want to say it was from bees, and he took it back to his family. Okay. He touched something dead. Mind you, he killed a lion. That doesn't count, but it was dead, and he still went back and he touched it to get the sweetness or whatever it is to carry back to his mom, dad, whatever. And it's just like, sir, you know you're not supposed to do that. What are we doing? Right. But people forget that story, but they remember Delilah.
Right. Because I mean, that's the most famous part of, well, at least the most known.
Right. So, right. Because again, we always look at the outcome, but we never really look at the build up. Yeah. That is literally what it is. So, and when he put it in that perspective, I was like, damn. Yeah. Let me make sure I watch this series because.
Because Sam, I heard that too. Like, I know even the amount of times that Delilah kept asking him for what his weakness was or whatever, he kept lying, or he didn't tell the full truth at first, and he denied her 2 times, but on that 3rd time, they go to 3 again. You feel me? That 3rd time, he told her what it was, and that's when she, you know. So I think because, especially because they families were from two warring tribes or 2 warring factions. Yeah, so
I have to definitely familiarize myself with the story for sure, because there's just so many. But
but because of that, I'm like, if your whole wife is asking you for what the secret to your strength is, and you feel like you have to lie, that you shouldn't even be in that dynamic anyway.
Exactly.
So I get the point. I see what you're
literally
trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So do I believe God is actively involved in people's lives? Yeah, I do. I don't think God is distant. I think the truth of the matter, fam, I ain't gonna hold y'all. I think that what it is for most people is similar to what you said. You can either operate in God's truth or be in the world. You know what I mean? Like be in
literally, yes.
You know what I mean? And with that truth, it's literally alignment. It's listening to that small still voice. It's knowing how to be obedient to that small still voice and
having that faith.
Having faith and being patient enough to know that, listen, if God showed you that you're supposed to stand on these principles, stand on them. Even if the world around you is collapsing, let it collapse. Just stand on the principles that you know. Because even it's so funny when I was going through. I didn't tell a lot of people. I didn't tell y'all about my whole school situation. But when I was going through my whole thing at the school situation, I remember like I heard a name in my head. It literally it's so weird. I kept hearing an angel's name, or I think it was I want to make sure I say the name right. It was either Azrael or As something. I can't remember the name of it, but it was connected to the story of, I believe, Daniel in the lion's den, or right before that in the Bible. And so basically what ends up happening was the angels, before Daniel got thrown into the lion's den, it was I think it was either 1 to 3 people that was in a pit of fire.
Oh, and like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Abednego was the name, but I saw like the English or the original name, whatever it was. So Abednego was the name. Abednego was the name.
I know what you're talking. I know the name, but I can't. Right.
Yeah. So Abednego was the name. I was like, why do I keep hearing Abednego? Like, and I kept hearing it almost like as if somebody else was talking to me, and I was like, okay. And as the story goes, there's a fire all around them, but the fire doesn't consume them.
Nope.
You know, and the principle or the concept of the story is that even in the midst of a great tragedy, or you literally about to be burned, everything is going to turn out fine.
Yep. And they threw 3 people in that fire, but the guardsmen saw 4. Okay. And they were like, who is this other man?
Right. And I was like, okay. So when I kept hearing that, I was like, so you're going to be consumed by it, but it's not going to overtake you. You're going to be in a setting where it's going to seem like fire, blaze, craziness. And I said, okay. And when I looked at that, I was like, okay, God, I see what you're doing. Stop playing. You know, so I was like, yo, that's really crazy. You know what I mean? So I know that, at least for me, because I know that I operate from being in that place of alignment. I don't try my best to like, oh, I can do everything. I know that I can do everything that God has taught me to do already. In other words, you feel me? God don't got to tie my shoes because he already gave me hands. So everything that I can manage, I'm going to manage. I'm going to be all right. Amen. But when I need to sit and be patient, I got to sit and be patient. And that's the part where it's like, but,
completely.
You know what I mean? And shout out to it's a preacher and a mystic. His name is Dr. Michael B. Beckwith. He said one of the first things that you got to do is, once you start to understand God, is you begin to know God, and then you start acting and doing what God tells you to do. And that's the second step. And then the third step is surrender. So once you act, you're like, all right, cool. You get it. But that's the masculine side. But the feminine side is now surrendering. And I was like, I'm not used to the concept of surrendering. So I'm like, I gotta surrender. I gotta stop doing. And it's like, yeah, that's the next step. You have
to die in your flesh every day.
Exactly.
Literally when you surrender. So I completely resonate with that. There's something about God's peace. Like when you know God got you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You don't have to start. You really
fighting. Don't like it's okay. Like we're human. So of course we're going to worry. Naturally we're going to have those questions like, oh my God, what if, and all the above. But I just feel like when you operate on God's time,
right.
In God's spirit and God, just everything is God centered.
Right.
You will always be taken care of. Like, listen, no questions asked, no nothing. Like it's literally just like a peace literally comes over you, and you just good. Because like you, I had that situation 2 years ago with my whole job my old job situation, and naturally I was nervous as hell. I said, Lord, the lifestyle I live, the bills that I have, the 2 children, my dogs, that are well taken care of.
The fur babies, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? And then, but I took my 24. Let me not lie. I didn't take no damn 24. I took like my 72.
Yeah.
Okay. I took my 72. I let it all out.
Wait,
and then.
Quick pause. Hold on. 72 is a 3. Go ahead. I'm listening. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But it was definitely 72. And I promise you, I just said my prayer. I said, Lord, I surrender. I don't know what the hell you doing.
Yeah.
But.
Right.
Okay. And I promise you, that summer, was one of the best summers I ever had. I was good. My bills were paid. Okay. I paid my bills. Because God has always taught me to save money no matter what. Like, I'm not a big spender. Do I like things? Of course. If anything, I'll spend like my last dime on travel because that's something I'm passionate about.
Right.
But I really do save my money.
Yeah, that's good.
Even if I have 10 cents, okay? Best believe 8 cents will be saved, and I will stretch the 2 pennies as best as I can. But it was one of the best summers I ever had. I literally got laid off on the 18th of May, got a job the 18th of July. And what's funny is like we're talking about God and relationship and just surrendering. Before I got laid off, I just kept seeing 1818. 2 different occasions, 2 different days. And then I got laid off. And then I was just like, I didn't even realize that I got laid off on the 18th either. I was just so consumed with a bitch ain't got no job. Like, what? And then I got hired July 18th, and I was out with my friend getting, because it was her birthday. And I knew it was her birthday, but again, the day didn't register to me. And I was like, Samantha, shout out to Samantha LaRouge. Hey. I was like, Samantha, wait a minute. What's the day? She was like, girl, it's my birthday. I said, no. What's the actual day? She's like, the 18th. I said, bitch.
18.
Wait a minute. And then I looked back at my calendar and I said,
I'm telling you, one of the ways God communicates through numbers.
Literally through numbers. And but the thing is, I also had such a peace over me. Like, I was just real good. Like, I was like, okay, hypothetically speaking, if I don't get a job until December, I will be fine. Like, I just got to be, very cute and mute with my spending.
Right.
But I will honestly be fine. And I just feel like when God got you, like, literally God just got you.
Right.
And it don't make sense. But you know what? I didn't understand that layoff, but now I do, because I'm literally in a much better position, much better pay. The elevation
is different.
I can't even say it, because listen, the evolving that I did from job A to now technically job C, because I had another job before and then I left it. All of that was God.
Right.
Listen, so if I, shout out to Patricia, what's her name? Tasia Prakanika or whatever the case is. Girl, you lied on me, but it's all right, because God got me, and when God got you.
Listen, stop playing. What? Man, hey.
When God got you, all right?
Right.
And karma always hits.
Hey, she ain't lying, so stop playing. Stop playing with one of God's favorites, okay?
Please, when I tell you the Lord is all over me, he don't play about Tay.
Listen.
And Tay don't play about God.
I know that's right. Stop playing. Let's see. So the next question is.
Yeah, I name dropped.
I know. Hey, listen, it's there. Stop playing. What?
10 toes down, like what these kids say.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, man. Sorry. So next question is, how do you define the nature of God? Loving, just, mysterious, unknowable?
Oh, Lord.
That's a deep question.
I just got to say, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. You hear me? Like, that's the way I can answer, because God is everything. Listen, I know I'd be pissing God off sometimes, like Taylor. And I'm like, Lord. Lord, you know my heart, though. Right. No, I think God is very just. I think God is very fair.
Yeah.
I think, I think God is just everything. Like, I feel like in order for us to feel certain emotions that we do, we do get it from God at the end of the day. But obviously the intention is very different. Like, we do have a jealous God. Like, God does not want me being his loving, faithful servant to be giving my attention to somebody who is not even anywhere near his heart.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying? So of course he's gonna be jealous. He's gonna be mad. Like, why are you messing around with that man? Do you know what I have for you? And then there you go, messing up Taylor. Like, me and God be arguing, okay?
Right.
Because that is really the relationship we have. And I feel like when people have an authentic relationship with God, it's completely different. But no, I think God is very it's everything. Honestly, everything.
Yeah.
Because there's certain things, like, we're really being humble, open, and transparent. Shout out to Mike Todd for the hot word. But, there's certain things I look and I'm just like, oh, Lord, like, how do you allow this to happen? Like, I think of, as people use the famous example, kids with cancer, just like innocent people really and truly suffering. And, I never understood that, because I'm like, Lord, like, what did they do? For, like, and I'm not saying that people have to do something for something to happen, but like,
right. Yeah. Like being born with cancer, like you can't control that.
Why Billy got cancer? Why? Like, come on,
Yeah.
But then in the same breath, I felt like God talking to me because it really is a question. I think we all have it, but do you really listen for the answer?
Yeah, that'd be the part.
That's the part.
And can you accept the answer once it comes?
Can you accept the answer? Especially that. So it's like, can you listen, but then can you also accept it?
Right.
And I really did. I was like, God, like, why do certain things happen? Like, this is so heartbreaking. Like, come on now. Like, even animals, like, I just think of our country right now. I think of all of that.
Yeah.
And, I felt God speak to me in a way where he was like, Taylor, I get it. I understand. I allow these things to happen so that people can live in their purpose, so that we can have these things for people to go to. Because let's be real, if it's weird to say, but like if we didn't have like certain things happen,
right?
Like,
certain negative things
happen. A lot of positive things, I guess, couldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I think about my job, like even just public administration in general. Nonprofits like United Way and things like that. Like if we didn't have certain under-resourced neighborhoods or people, the veterans that are struggling and all the above, we wouldn't have such beautiful nonprofits, and people also wouldn't be living out their purpose,
right,
of helping.
The degree to charity that God needs the world to have wouldn't be.
Yeah, like that. That's really how I feel. So it sucks, but then at the same time, I don't.
It sucks,
weird.
but it somehow balances out. I hate to say balance out, but I know what you mean.
Right, because you can't have light without the dark.
Right, you can't.
You can't. And then in order to know light, you kind of have to know darkness. Like you have to be friends with both.
Right.
So, and then, it depends on how you use your gifts. Cause then you have some people where they've been through, like, damn, I'm very sorry you went through that. Like, I couldn't even imagine myself going through that.
Yeah.
But how are you turning that pain into purpose?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you have some people that have where, I lost both my parents and I was young and blah, blah, blah. So now I'm a mentor to those who, I can help, or I have a foundation that can really aid in whatever the case is. But then you also have people where sadly the darkness has consumed them so much. Like the light just seems so impossible to reach. Again, it's about walking in your purpose, being aligned.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it's like such a weird way to say, but it's a balance.
Yeah. There's a balance that comes with it, and
it's a sad.
It's a sad reality, but that's true.
But then this is the world too.
Yeah.
So, because like, look at our country right now. I never thought America would be where it is. But an old Jamaican proverb: "Who don't hear must feel."
Yeah.
And again, blueprints. We have history. Always repeats itself, especially if you don't learn from it. And then,
Yeah.
Just make sure you get gold, y'all.
Yeah. Big facts.
Make sure you get some gold. No, we're silver. Just get something very...
Yeah. Facts. Listen, and...
I said 1929, but shit, when 2029 hit, might be a whole different story. Hey.
But yeah, I think more of the same, right? I think... I personally, I guess, came up with my own way of saying, how what's the phrase about God being mysterious? Oh, the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Oh, very true.
So the way I've kind of remixed that for myself, because I guess I'm just extremely logical, so forgive me, y'all. But I say that God works in mathematical ways. We just don't understand the equation. And in truth, like I feel like that has always kind of been my life, where it's always like God puts you through the test first, and then now you start to reap the benefits later. You like, had I not gone through this craziness over here, my life wouldn't have balanced out on over here. For
sure. You're still in the equation. The equation is just real long. Yeah, That's it.
What? Stop playing.
Like the equation took 2 years for me to like get where I am. And then for you, it took like a couple of months, but you were just in the equation.
Exactly.
So you were still like carry the one, square root the 5.2222.
You feel me? 2, 3, 3. Type thing. Yeah,
long division.
Yeah, man.
And then sin and tax and cos and that sign of where numbers don't even aren't
man.
Numbers.
Listen. But that and I think and it's funny because a lot of people hate math for that reason, because they feel like math is the unknown. But I think that's what God used to shape people, literally. And whether it's biblical or even in the Bible, whether it's even with Christ doing his 40-day fast, when you look at it, that's a forced wilderness. That's a forced sense of, I guess, darkness or the unknown. You know what I mean? So in either case, whether it was the Israelites after Egypt or Christ doing that 40-day, it's important to always go through that period of unknown, because God is shaping you. God molds you. God does what he does for you in that time.
And I like that you brought up the Israelites with going through the desert. Yeah. Because, it goes back to choice. That was a choice, because they crossed the Red Sea. God literally gave them the land, but then they literally kept choosing to respectfully fuck around and find out.
Right.
They got there. They had a whole sea divided. And I'm thinking of the Prince of Egypt, a whole whale was swimming by them. You know what I'm saying? Like, when do you see that shit happening? Yet y'all had the audacity, the gall, when Moses was up on the mountain to build a whole bronze calf and praise that. Right. This man just parted a whole sea with a stick.
Right. And y'all was playing,
See, and then he sent, again, I'm not good with names, but y'all know the story. Aaron? If you don't know, Aaron's the older brother. He sent, hey, party. Right. He sent, oh God, two people, Jacob, it's not Jacob, but something with a J and somebody else to go into the promised land, and they went into the promised land. But I guess the people were so tall. They were like giants. Yeah. So when they came back and reported to the collective, they were like, the land of milk and honey, yeah, it's cool, but they're huge. We're going to have to fight. They pretty much just made the promised land sound so negative.
Right.
Although, again, that was the promised land for y'all. And then God was like, y'all really still... Right. You know what, Jacob, whatever your name is, you can go. Yeah. The rest of y'all, keep spinning the block. Yeah, they literally walked in a whole circle for 40 years. Moses died, not even going to the promised land, yet he made the whale swim, across the ocean while it was up and separated. You know what I'm saying? Like, Again, it comes down to choice. So do I think God is just? Of course, but again, God is fair.
Right. No, God is, and this is the key point about, I think, alignment that most people don't see. What happens to a lot of people is that they allow their feelings or their perception of the world to get in the way of God's truth. And God be like, no, bro, I told you jump. Just ask how high and just keep going. Just do what I tell you to do. People keep finding reasons. Well, my legs hurt. Oh, I don't feel like doing it.
I kind of sprained my ankle.
I kind of sprained my ankle. He like, I'll repair all that.
I have sandals on.
You feel me? We always find an excuse. And it's like, listen, all you got to do is stand in that alignment. He telling you X, just do X. Don't look for Y. Don't look for A. Don't look for Z. Just stand on X and be there.
And trust me, he will make a way. Yeah. There's one thing the Lord will do is always make a way when you don't. Okay? Yeah. You don't see no way. Right. And that's why I try to tell people. That's why I always fast in the beginning of the year. Like the last episode that I actually did. Yeah. The day after, and I think I told you guys, I did my 21-day fast. It ended February 1st. That's what's up. And it was honestly really, really good. It was definitely challenging because I was like, I'm hungry. But, I encourage people to fast. Like, if you really want to kind of be still and know, I think fasting is one of the best ways to just have a lot of things change. Like, your mindset is a little different. The way you speak even is a little different. Not from hunger, but from, I don't know, just a place you don't tap into enough. Yeah. That's how I view it.
Yeah, I need to get back to fasting because I'm too much of a foodie sometimes, but I'm like, just for the spiritual discipline and, just that connection, I need to fast. I need to fast a bit more and cut down on some grocery bills. Stop playing, because man, listen, I love to eat, and that's it. I'm not gonna say it's anti-God to eat, but it is anti-God to be gluttonous when you don't need to be. When you're deliberately not trying to be disciplined in a certain area of your life.
I think that's better. Like when you're just deliberately not trying to be disciplined. Like, oh no, but I have to eat. And it's like, I mean, of course you do. Yeah. I'm not saying to starve yourself at all. Yeah. But there is a different intention when you're fasting. And trust me, God will give you the strength. Your body is not going to get messed up at all. Especially again, if the intention behind it, like you're doing it for God. You're stripping yourself of something that makes you very happy just to be more connected to him. Like, Trust me, God gonna make you full even when you haven't eaten for 2 days. You're supposed to eat though, but that's later.
Right.
Yeah.
Facts. Let's see. So the next question is, do you feel a connection to God more in times of joy, struggle, or both? And why?
I'm going to say both.
Okay.
I'm going to say both because, no, I will gladly say both because I feel like people typically run to God when they really are struggling, like when they're down in the dumps. And I realized that in college that I would, when my life was good and grand, but then when I was struggling, I'm like, Lord, wait, God, don't leave me. And he's just like, well, one, Taylor, I never left you. And then two, now you want to talk to me?
Right.
You want to share the struggles, but we can't share joy together. You know what I'm saying? And I actually felt that. So I was like, you know what? Anytime, no matter what happens in my life, even if I have a good poop one day, I'm like, Lord, thank you. We shared in this together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always telling God, thank you. Even for my struggles, I tell him, thank you. I really do. Yeah. I'm like, Lord, this season of my life right now, okay, but I thank you because clearly you're teaching me something. There is joy on the other side. Yeah. You're strengthening some type of characteristic in me.
Facts.
Don't know what it is yet, but we gonna get there together.
Right.
But I feel connected to God all the time. And I think, again, that goes with alignment. And I think it goes with your real relationship. Because it's literally like a friendship. Like you share with your friends your joys, your struggles, your good news, your bad news, your indifferent news, your confusing news, your da-da-da. Yeah. So if I can do that with like you and Jasmine and da-da-da, I should definitely be able to do that with God.
Right.
So that's, I literally treat my relationship with God.
Like God don't already know too.
And that too, you know what I'm saying? Like, Lord, you already know what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. Like, why am I hiding? Why am I not talking to you? Let me just, I'll be like, girl, let me tell you what's up. Okay. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It'd be great. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm like done, but it's just like,
listen, I ain't gonna hold you. My relationship with God has become super informal. Like to the point where there's some Christians would be like, you talk to God like that? First of all.
And you see, and I hate when people even say that. I used to have an ex where he was like, because I remember one time I was like, yeah, when I'm in the shower, like that's when I feel more like I just talk to God. He was like, you talk to God in the shower? That's so disrespectful. I said, boy, if you don't get your...
What? How is that disrespectful?
And I was just like, dude. Yeah. Well, trust me, that relationship was very short-lived. Very short-lived. But, I hate when people say that because I feel like if this is a hill I will die on, this is the unyielding number 6 that you were talking about. Yeah. I feel like God hates when people put on a show.
Give me an example.
Lord, you magnificent Father. If you speak in tongues, that's cool. That's you. But if that's not you,
don't do that.
Why are we putting on a show?
I don't know.
Why? I don't know. Why? And people may get mad at me for saying this, but like you, I'm super informal with him. God knows my speech. Right. You know my speech. So the way I speak to you is the same way I speak to that nigga. And I said, like, especially when something like crazy perplexing happens, I'm like, nigga, what? Lord, are you?
What is happening? Yes,
sir. Like, I listen.
Facts.
Okay, but I'm not gonna fake it.
That's
what I'm all about being respectful. There's a big difference.
There's a difference between being honorable
and I think again, it's all about your heart posture as well. Because I'm not cussing God out. I'm not saying this is me authentically. Responsibly talking to my Father. Right.
Fact.
That's it. I'm not cussing God out. I'm not blasphemy this, the Holy Spirit. Absolutely not. I would never. Okay. Because I'm terrified of God at the end of the day.
Right. Listen.
But I'm not really. I'm not scared of God. I don't think you should be.
I was gonna say terrified may be the wrong word. I don't want to disappoint God.
That's it. Yeah. Because after all you've done for me, Father. No, but again, just back to authenticity. Like, I'm pretty sure God be hearing some of these prayers and he's just like, all right, calm down. Thank you. Yes.
Right.
Okay, but talk to me.
Right.
Talk to me like I'm your homegirl, like I'm your homeboy.
Yeah, because
talk to me.
You already know your heart. So why you over here trying to pretend as if,
please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't. Again, like you said, it's a fine line between being disrespectful, just being extra, all the above, but just be authentically you.
Right.
That's right. God already knows the authentic us. So why not just be authentic?
Fair.
That's just how I feel.
So I'm thinking, my connection with God, I think it's definitely similar. I try my best to see God in every situation.
He is in every situation.
Exactly. And that's the thing where it's like, so even in the midst of all this craziness, I'm like, God, why you? I say to myself, okay, God, what is it about this situation you need me to learn from? If everything is going wrong, why are you putting me through this at this moment in time? Is there something that I haven't been paying attention to? Is there something that I haven't been privy to that I have to now be more mindful of, right? Whether it's the situation I had at work, whether it's even me talking to Tasia and she say something that's off the wall, and I'm like, bro, I thought we already solved this problem. And I'm like, no, we didn't. And it's like, it keeps reoccurring. And I'm like, okay. So this is what I'm supposed to be learning right now. This is what God is literally trying to show me right now. So in the bad, I think in the past for me, and I used to always, I would love to go to God for the bad. And for some of the good, I'll be like, I'm thankful. And I'll be like, yeah. I feel like I had this mindset of, and I kind of still have it, but before it was way worse. I think I had this thing where I would believe that the good things that would happen to me would happen because I was doing the right thing, as opposed to understanding like, no. You still in this alignment. You just didn't know that. You still, you feel me? You are flourishing because of this, not because of you. Right. You know what I mean? And I was like, and learning, because really and truly what alignment means when I say it is understanding how to operate within the Holy Spirit, or within the spirit that you actually are, and not the human being that you believe yourself to be. You understand what I'm saying? So, and I didn't realize like, oh, that's the place that I've been operating from. And I confused spirit with person, and they are not the same thing. No. And then when I caught the difference, I was like, oh, you're operating from here, thinking it's here, and it's not the same thing. So when I started, I said, okay. Now I see what it actually is. Thank you, God. You know what I mean? So so I started to just pay more reverence, be more aware of that, and say, okay, now I understand. You know what I mean? So in the good, in the bad, in the ugly, in the cute, in the mute, in the everything, I give honor. You know what I'm saying? I definitely do.
And I think we have to remember at the end of the day that we are all in this human experience.
Right.
So at the end of the day, we're all going to go through some type of shit to go through the shift.
Right.
But we're gonna all experience heartbreak. We're gonna all experience losing someone that we really loved and it don't make sense type thing. We're gonna have those friendships that we thought were cool and then next day they turn on us and it's just like, whoa, what happened? We're gonna lose something that we really valued. Like everything is, but it's about your response to it.
Exactly.
As well.
Exactly.
What I'm also learning too is we're all on borrowed time. At the end of the day, like I really resonate with that more with my dogs, because as much as I would love for like my dogs to live forever, I know they have more days. Actually, they're kind of even, if I'm being honest. They have like especially if they live to be like 15, which I pray they live longer than that, of course. But like I have to remind myself sometimes, like I'm on borrowed time with them. I think about my parents, especially with me being the only child. I'm like, damn, I'm on borrowed time with both my mom and dad. They have more days behind them than they do in front of them, based on their age and all the above. So not saying they're old. Sorry, mommy, you're not old. But in general, like I think of things like that, and I know I have God's favor on me, but that does not exempt me from the human experience.
Facts. Big facts.
I used to feel the same way you did too. Like, oh, good things are happening because I did something good today. And don't get me wrong, karma is real. Right, so of course, even tithing is for damn sure real, okay? But, I believe in all of that as well. But I just feel like, again, we're going to have our human experience.
Right.
We're going to have good things happen to us. We're going to have bad things happen to us. And what I also realized too is that social media has a beautiful way of doing this, is that what we see people doing, it's not exactly all true. And, right. we know that it's very fake. A lot of people put on these facades for show.
The filters ain't just for the pictures. It's for
exactly.
Life moments.
So so I look at certain things. I'm like, damn, I wish. But then years later, it's like, oh, y'all are divorcing? Oh, y'all are... He or she was beating your ass this whole time. Right. Oh my God. We don't really know the truth. The grass isn't always greener.
It ain't
either. And that's why it's just important to just be present.
Right.
That's literally like me going forward until my time clock runs out. I just want to be present. Right. I love memories. I love creating memories. I love everything like that. Just, present. And I think that's what God wants us to do too, is just be present, just believe. Because we don't know how the next 4 years are going to go at all. But personally, and I tell people this all the time and they look at me like I'm crazy, I said I'm very excited for the next 4 years. Because I know I'm going to be taken care of because God don't play about me, okay? Right. And anything I touch, the people I touch, we going to be good. Right. However, I think this is just... I think God is going to have the last laugh.
Oh, of course.
Especially when you use religion to manipulate, to deceive people. Like, we don't even got to go into the story. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay?
Yeah.
And God is going to have the last laugh. And then all those people who claim to be believers, they look at this idiot as an actual representation of the faith, which is amazing to me. Good luck.
Right.
Good luck. That's just how I feel. I'm not wishing bad on nobody, but again, who don't hear must feel.
That's a fact.
Sadly, this is just because we're all in this together and because we live here, we just all gonna have to feel. But I'm not gonna feel as bad as you. That I can assure you of.
Some people gonna feel the brunt of it, while some of us might feel like a flick of it. Like
literally, your leg is gonna be severed while mine just has a slight little scratch in it that I don't even need to put a Band-Aid on.
You feel me? So. Yeah, facts. Interesting. I want to back up just for a moment because I know we talked about, we are human. There's I can't remember the quote in the Bible. I don't want to butcher it, but I'm going to at least try to talk about it a little bit. So I know when Christ was saying, he was saying something along the lines of, you are as people, you are meant to overcome, right? Like, even though basically he was saying that as human beings, we feel like we shouldn't be having to go through the hardships, and that's not the point of it. You were made to overcome all of the things that are going to happen to you in this lifetime. You know what I mean? So, and that's one of the things that I have to, give God thanks for, because, look, we don't look nothing like what we've been through at all. You feel me? Like, I've been through a lot of craziness, a lot of, I've been a victim when I was 21. Most people don't even know that about me, but but I just even in that moment of going through that and feeling like a failure and feeling like, and from that moment, I think that's when my spiritual journey with God took one of the biggest shifts ever. Like like knowing that you could literally be down and out and be in the have little and nothing to your name, but literally rebuild your life because God says, I got more for you. I was like, oh, this is how this faith thing works. Okay. Say less. Stop playing. So yeah. God is always there. God is always there.
Literally.
Yeah, man.
You just got to go to him. Just got to go and talk. Like literally just lay it out. Like how they say, put it on the altar. Put it on the altar. Literally just lay out. And if you got to cry, if you got to, whatever you got to do, just talk. Yeah. That's it.
And I know my boy Drake is on a losing team right now, but he did have a quote. He did have a quote that says that in dire times when you need a sign, that's when they appear, boy. And God be giving you signs when you need it the most. So
for sure, especially when you're actively looking, because there's another.
And to be honest with you, even when you're not. But when God put it already on your heart, it's gonna show up anyway.
Right, like you just know. Right, you're like aware. You're aware of it. And I think what people have to remember too is that God really does answer prayers. It's just the packaging can come real like wonky sometimes, or what we think is wonky. Because I love this. I guess it's a quote too. I don't know what it is, but they're like, oh, you can't pray for cake. And then when God gives you the flour, the butter, the sugar, the this, eggs, the kitchen, and you just look at it and say, God, this is not what I asked for.
Right.
You got to bake the cake.
Exactly.
You know, and God is not a genie. I mean, he is, but like, how do you learn? How do you grow? How do you evolve?
Right.
He's going to give you the ingredients.
Yeah.
That way, the next time you want this cake, guess what? You can make it.
Right.
And then we can add, some raspberries. We can do whatever you want to the cake. Exactly. But the blueprint is right here.
Right.
And here are the ingredients. Let's make this cake. Let's whip. Let's nay. Let's do it all. Let's do it all. And I think when people get into the kitchen, that's when they give up. So a lot of people have cakes that are just
they waiting to be baked,
waiting to be tasted. Oh my gosh, and that's the difference between people who are just comfortable, I guess,
right,
or whatever, or they move with fear and of the world, take it how you want, and then those who are actively trying to be in alignment and surrendering.
Right.
Because I don't know how to bake cakes. I don't know how to bake in general. I really don't. Sorry. No, I can cook, but I cannot bake a damn cake. Okay, but best believe I'm in this kitchen, flour in my eye.
Right.
Okay, Lord. How much butter you said?
I gotta do. Right. Exactly. Figuring it out as you go. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My first cake toppled over.
Right.
The other one wasn't even baked all the way, but best believe I'm gonna get this cake.
Right.
Because I'm actively in the kitchen trying.
Exactly. And that's you gotta be, because shoot, a couple of my cakes done burnt. Couple of my cakes that lit the kitchen on fire, but I still got one. Like, it's so.
Some of my cakes disappeared. I guess it was in there too long and just said bye.
You feel me?
Like, damn, where's the pan? Shit, this was making a little too long. I'm sorry, but
right.
Again, at least I'm in the kitchen baking.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Listen, man, stop playing. Okay, so let's see. I guess the last section is about more religion and spirituality and the difference, I guess, between the two. So, do you differentiate between religious and spiritual, or excuse me, do you differentiate between being religious and being spiritual, and how do you relate to each?
I'm sorry. I don't know that. I'm definitely more spiritual than anything.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like with religion, in my personal opinion, I just think it's a bunch of rules that white people came up with, and they just want people to follow. Like, I'm just being dead ass honest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if I can understand the context behind some of these rules, then cool.
Yeah.
But I just feel like spiritually, like everything is with the spirit. Like literally, it's your soul. And that's all God cares about is your soul, your spirit, however you want to put it. So I do think there is a clear difference, especially when it comes to your intention. Okay. Like, are you religious because you were told you have to follow these set rules, or are you following these set rules because spiritually that's how you
that's what you're aligned to.
That's what you're aligned to, exactly.
Right.
So that's really it for me. Like, I like I said, I think I'm more spiritual than, like, I can find God in nature. I go to the beach. I love the beach. Like, water is my happy place. I feel like God is like hugging me tight when I'm in that water. Like, for real, you know what I'm saying? Like, walking through, I don't walk through no woods, but like going to the park. Just being out there and just feeling the sun on my face with my sunscreen, but feeling it, just being like, this is God's kisses. Like, that's just
Same.
If I find a pretty rock, I'm like, oh Lord, look, because I'll pay attention to some shit like that. Oh my God, it's blue.
Facts. I think the same. I feel like I said earlier, I think religion is made for people. There are some people who I learned are employees, and then there are people who are entrepreneurs. Is the way I want to frame this, right? So an employee is a person who is employee or a religious person is a person who needs organization. They need to know what time to show up to work, what time to get dressed, do all the things. They need to know that every 2 weeks I'm getting paid, right? Religion does that for them. It organize like a job, just in the same way a job organizes your life. Religion organizes your spiritual life, so to speak, right? entrepreneurship is like spirituality. Mm-hmm. So the thing about entrepreneurship that's so dope is that when you're an entrepreneur, you are a little bit, I guess, more savvy, and you understand the cycles of the economy. Mm-hmm. When you're spiritual, you understand the cycles of God. Mm-hmm. You feel me? So you're not necessarily afraid anymore because now you're in tune with these cycles. You literally see like, oh, God works this way. So I don't have to be afraid of what potentially could go wrong because I understand that at this point it's supposed to be bad or it's supposed to be crazy. So I have to be in my wilderness for, X amount of time. And then after that wilderness comes the true nation of Israel, the promised land that was supposed to come anyway. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and I think a lot of people are so afraid and a lot of people need, I guess, that level of reassurance that religion gives them. And religion, there's nothing wrong with it. It's like a job. It gives you that structure. Mm-hmm. Spiritual people understand that whether I have a structure or not, I see the cycles. I see God for what God is, and I know how to operate within it.
I like that you use that example. Mm-hmm. And I'll build off of that because for example, me, I really have no ambition on being an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. Not for nothing. Like that's not in my
wheelhouse. Yeah.
It's really not. Yeah. Can I be like a silent investor? And
yeah.
That's me. Mm-hmm. But I like that you said that because I feel like we all started somewhere. So an entrepreneur started, even if they were fired after day one, they still had a job or they were an employee. Right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. What I think the difference with religion and spirituality in that aspect is how far do you want to evolve? Mm-hmm. Like, are you willing to go past what you know and learn more?
Exactly.
So staying, like you stay content being that employee, the same position for 10 plus years.
Yeah. You
have no intention on moving up in the company. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be a manager. You don't want to be a director. You don't want to be SVP, CEO, whatever the case is. And I get that. Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's what it is with religion and spirituality too, is like, people like me, I don't care to be an entrepreneur, but I will always move up in a company. I always want to elevate myself and evolve.
Right.
So I want to evolve in my faith, which is me, stepping out of my comfort zone.
Right.
And being the leader.
And to that point, right? So that people have a clear understanding of the analogy. The higher you go in a company, the less restrictions they have on you. The CEO is not there every day.
Exactly.
You understand? The higher up you go, there's less constraints because okay, I know my employees are working Monday through Friday, but I have to be in a business meeting in Aspen. I got to be in a meeting across the world, and
I have to make these fits. So when the board, especially if you work nonprofit, that's just me. When the board comes to me, I have to make swift decisions and do things like that. So you have to be like in a leadership again, like just evolving,
right?
And I think that's the difference too. I think with spirituality, you don't have that fear of evolving and seeing what not only is out there,
right,
but trying to come to terms with things. So let's be real, like. We started off this podcast kind of talking about like, for example, King James and how like the Bible was written in his vernacular.
Right. In English,
and he was anti-gay, anti-everything, although he himself, was. And there's still studies being done on that. But, like people will just stay there. They won't go outside of, okay, so who was King James?
Right.
Like, let me go down this rabbit hole. Some people don't want to go down that rabbit hole. And I'm not saying the rabbit hole is always conducive because there's certain things like if people just be talking and you really have to be wary of who you're listening to and reading. That's like peer-reviewed articles and all the above is very important. We learned that with COVID, but that's why that's really important. But in general, like some people are very scared to just take that step.
Right. And
they really are.
And that's part of it. And I realized I had to really come to terms with, because I'm like, why won't most people do more of the work? Why are people okay with just saying, okay, this is just the King James Bible. I don't want to know anything about King James. Like, why are people content with that? And I think God was basically trying to show me that there are some people who have that mindset. I literally created some people to have their purpose centered around something that might seem simple to you, but is everything to them. Some people literally just need to be a really, really dope mom or a really, really dope dad. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Or
that's their purpose,
they really need to be like a really, really like dope teacher, which is extremely important because there are some teachers who change the lives of certain children.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
And so you hear that all the time.
Right. And so the entrepreneur versus a teacher isn't an extreme case of being extreme different. Yeah. But, you know, it's to just like further point. It's not the case of extreme difference. It's understanding where you lie, one, and two, how God created the vastness of us, and understanding like, oh, some people are meant to just have the simple, kind of comfortable and humble life, while there are those, the spiritual side is for those of us who are like a bit more curious and want to know more about God and get into
I think everyone has it though. That's what's funny. I actually think everyone can, and I really don't think God. Forgive me. I don't think God makes people to be basic bitches. I really don't. I think God wants everybody to live out their purpose, however that looks to you. Like, again, you said like a dope mom, a dope dad. Like, for sure, I completely agree.
Right.
But I also think people stop that. Like, I'll say, again, unyielding. It's amazing that you did the numbers thing because I'm going to use that word.
Unyielding,
Unyielding. Because I don't believe God created crackheads. I really don't.
Right.
I refuse to believe God said, you know what, Billy? You're going to be on crack for the rest of your life. But it was a choice.
Right.
Billy took that choice and stayed with that choice. So now me seeing Billy on the side of the road begging me for $1 that I also need.
Right.
I'm just like, you know, I don't want that life.
Right. Of course.
So whatever trauma and whatever happened to Billy, you know, I'm sorry. Whatever you did not heal from or you don't want to confront, take accountability for, have that uncomfortable conversation, whatever the case is, get that help.
Right.
It for me now, outside looking in, I'm like, I don't want to.
So
I would never want to be in that position because it's easy to get into that position, especially when you're not aligned.
Exactly.
So, or you know. Because curiosity did kill the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even want to be curious with drugs or anything like that. Like that's not me. But I see people, and you know, there's a lot of reasons why people are on the streets. You know, that's a whole different topic for a whole different day. But when it comes to like just being, you know, strung out, and that's what I'm centering this on. You know, that's where the whole example comes in. So it's like a two-way street. Like I said, I don't think God created crackheads. I really don't. However, in the balance of life, me now driving, seeing Billy do his thing for $1. I don't want that. So I'm going to make sure I go to my job. Although I hate it, I don't. This is just an example. I'm going to go to the job that I hate just to make sure I don't end up like Billy. Or have those conversations or remove myself from that toxic situation or whatever the case is so I don't end up like Billy. So, you know, again, God be working in mysterious ways.
And I think that's a testament to us being, I guess, more on that spiritual side, because one of the burdens I think for a lot of spiritual people is that they see people's capacity more than the person sees it themselves.
Oh, for sure. That's like a problem I have.
And
the potential.
The potential, the ability.
It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. You'd be like, yo, you could do so much more if you just, but it's like, again, you're like, and it's weird because even for me, I'm like, God, am I judging people because they ain't doing what I feel like they can be doing? But it's like, again, and it goes back. It's like, well, is everybody meant to be spiritual? I can't, that is one thing I can't answer. So, you know what I mean? So I understand the reason why God created religion. I understand why there's a need for a job, because some people, they need to be
told what to do.
Not just that, they're just comfortable. They don't need the extra.
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like, as much as I'm like, but there's so much more. Why are you living in the lack? But it's like, if that's where you're comfortable.
That is.
You know what I mean? You can't force it. So that's the hard part.
You can't. It's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard because we can go down a whole rabbit hole with this alone.
Exactly.
It's hard because, like I said, I think God wants everyone to be the best of what they are destined to be. I really do.
Right.
But again, that's where choice comes in.
Yeah, like, I agree with that. I agree with that point. I definitely, I think God wants everybody to be.
But some people are just very simple and comfortable. And I wouldn't even say comfortable. Some people really are just simple. They really are. Like they are. To them, they are living out their best selves. And I'm here looking like, okay. Sure.
Right. Exactly.
So it comes like with the joy. Like if you really find joy and you good, I'm good.
Right.
Like literally.
You like it, I
can't live your life, but that's also why I'm not in your life. Like I'm not you.
Right. Exactly.
Because that could not be me. When I see some people, I'm like.
Right. And for me, like no shade, no, none of that. It's like I can't. I almost wish I even ask God sometimes. I'd be like, God, why the hell you ain't make me more simple? Because like I'll be seeing people whose lives are like not necessarily like extremely simple, but they don't think the way I think. They don't got the drive. I'm like, why do I got to do so much more? Have this thing in me that pushes me to do so much more when I can be simple.
It's like packing a suitcase. Dead ass.
Yeah.
It really is like packing a suitcase because just coming from the cruise, I took my lovely big suitcase. I don't even know why I overpacked. I will say that, but I saw some people there with big suitcase, little bag. And I'm like, it's only 5 days. Like, where are you going? But again, that's just how some people are. Then I saw some people where all they had was a carry-on. And I said, for 5 days, where are the drawers? How many shoes do you have in that bag? Where are you going to put your souvenirs? Like, but then I had to realize I have a whole face routine. I have a whole this, I have a whole that, like body, you name it. Some people, they don't do that.
They don't got to do that.
They don't have to do that.
Right.
That's just not them.
Right.
Me, though, my whole AKA bag was full of face stuff. And deodorant, like anything
toiletries, whatever,
all of that, you know what I'm saying? Some people, they don't carry poopery wherever they go, and I don't understand how, because that shit lives with me. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, like that's just how people operate. Some people really can survive off of a carry-on. On a cruise.
Right. For 5 days.
For 5 days.
Yeah, I can't.
With all the activities that are there, as you know.
Yeah.
Me with my big ass bag. And then you have other people with a big ass bag, a small ass bag, and another little bag. And it's just like, wow.
Right. It's interesting.
And yet we're all on the same cruise.
Exactly. So that's how it be. And you'd be like, but okay. All right, cool.
I don't understand it, but clearly you have shoes in one, maybe. Something in the other one. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it works for you.
Right.
It don't work for me. I just like, I'm simple in that sense. Like, I'm just going to carry one bag. Like, when we went to Jamaica, I carried one bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, my best friend, she carried like 3. And I'm just like, for what?
Yeah,
but that's what helped. That's you.
That's you.
That's you. Me.
And I think I'm having to learn. Like, okay, that's just them. Let them be.
Yeah.
Let it. Don't try to. Don't fix. Don't shade. Don't talk. Just that's them.
What was that word? Obstinate. Whatever the case.
Yeah. Obstinate. Whatever it is.
It was.
Okay.
All right, God, we listening.
Because listen,
everything you read and we talking about, you're like, wait a minute. Yeah, I see what you mean there.
Oh man. Let's see. Ooh. Okay. Let's end on this question, and this is this is gonna be hard, but
Lord,
are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. If you could ask God one question and get a clear answer, what would you ask?
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
Do I? I think I really don't have a question, but I do. I don't have that question, but I have questions that may seem like low-key a little stupid.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But like, I think one question that has rattled my head a lot.
Yeah.
And you may laugh at this, but it has but it's just on my list.
Okay.
It's like, what happened to the dinosaurs? Like, was it really a meteor, Lord? Or like, did they drown when the flood happened? Like, what happened? Did you really fry that fish or did you bake it? with the loaves of bread and stuff? Like, those are the stupid ass questions I have. Like, you know, Lord, like, I don't know, did OJ really kill Nicole? Like, let me know. Those are the questions I have. There's really not one question that I have for God because I feel like God has always answered my questions, but it just wasn't on the time frame that I wanted.
Right. Your ego be wanting stuff now. Right. And it's like,
and to be honest with you, I feel like if I knew, if I know what I'm supposed to, like what's supposed to happen in the future.
It'll alter now.
It'll alter so much.
Yeah,
and I feel like I will not live out my potential because in order for me
to get there,
you know, I got to patent.
Right, you do got to evolve. I
have to patent.
Right.
If I already know, I'm not going to patent. So because I have like that potential in me and I know, like, you know, I don't know, but I know.
Right.
Girl, you got to pretend.
Yeah.
I got to pretend. So I really don't.
So you got to pretend. Stop playing.
Yeah, like you got to pretend. So
yeah.
I really don't have a question. I really don't. I don't have a burning question. If I do, it'll be evolved around me. And even with me, I don't have a question. I don't even want to know when I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I do not. I don't. I'm one of those. I don't care. But I mean, I care, but I don't care. Like every day is a gift. I'm gonna wake up, live my life, and then pray I wake up the next day, and that's how we doing it until the Lord says, "You know what, my good and faithful servant, it's time to come. Bring your black ass home."
Right.
And that's what I will do.
Facts.
That's what I would do.
Facts. As you were talking, I'm over here trying to formulate my question. I'm like, I don't even know. I think I will have a series of questions too. I think okay. Let's get a little crazy. Just a little bit. Well, not real, but a little bit, but not a little bit. So I would want to know certain things. Like, so one of the things that I've been looking into recently, listening to certain people, spiritual teachers, et cetera, they understand that there's 4 different types of dimensions when it comes to your spiritual development, et cetera. So the bottom level is like your spirits, Then you have ancestral, then you have and the angelic realm, and then you have God. And like, I think I'll have questions about that. That would be like, I'll be like, God, how does that work? Because I'll be like, how did all these religions come into play? Like, why is it okay for them to talk about ancestors, but Christians don't? And like, I'm like, how come it's like that? You know what I mean? And I want to know more about how that ability, power, and things like that work. Because I feel like the thing about our time in human history, I feel like we've been spiritually deprived. Like we don't know the truth we don't know enough of the truth about God because we've been handed, I guess for lack of a better, we've been handed a religion that, I don't know, it seems, I hate to say it was handed to us by white people, but because it was,
it was.
But to me, it lacked all the substance that it could have had it been given it to us in the proper way, in the correct way, in a way that wasn't so tied back.
You know what I mean? See, we're Black people are literally from the earth. Like, we are literally like the salt of the earth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
facts.
Let's be real. People could not survive if it wasn't for Black people in every type of capacity you could honestly imagine.
Like,
literally like.
And the Black History Month, stop playing. Which we can't even fit into a month, but it's different discussion.
Black History Month, 365, 366. You
hear
me?
Stop playing.
But what I think the problem that people have, and especially our people, is that we literally came from everything being ancestral. Everything was about community, was about your tribe, everything like that. And then we had a certain group of people come and pretty much attempt to wipe us of our history. They broke our spirits, but they couldn't break the resilience. That's the difference.
Facts.
Thankfully, people have some strong ass hands. So we were able to carry certain cultures and traditions here and have the foods, have the dialect, have the culture. Thank God for mouths because of our oral history. Because let's be real, we would not learn a lot of this shit. And I'm so happy that there's more Black creators out there to really share. Like, I think of High on the Hog or Is that what's called on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that little series because food alone is just so rich in history and everything like that, and then to bring it, make it, adapt, because Black people, we just know how to adapt so damn well. But you see, that's also a problem. We adapt so well that we start to also lose
who we are.
Yeah. So then now, like when people say, oh, praying to your ancestors, etc., is bad, it's like, no, those are our angels.
Right, exactly.
Y'all call them angels, but they're ancestors.
Right.
What angel did God assign to me that wasn't from me? Like, I'm confused.
How I'm made in his image and his likeness, and then beings who have a relationship with me, I can't talk to them. No, that don't make sense.
Right.
What? No, that don't make sense.
Y'all don't know this is my aunt right there? Like, shut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real. Like, and it's sometimes it's just words, but again, I feel like that's how people are able to be dismissive of the Black culture, especially. So that's why I don't pay attention to that shit. Just like even with spirituality, like, oh, that's the devil's work, crystals, this, da-da-da. And it's just like, okay, people. You literally read Genesis, onyx, jewels, all the above were definitely, used, but we won't even get into that. Because again, the Bible's very broad. People depict it the way they want to. But, I'm not saying to practice like witchcraft and stuff, because there is a very big difference. What I'm saying is, it's all about connection. Right. It really is about connection. And I feel like as Black people, we are very connected. Yeah. But the more we adapt, the more we adapt of this world, the less we, remember those interesting, intricate details that make us us. Okay?
Right. So, facts. Big facts. Yeah, man. But I would have questions, boy. I would have a conversation. I don't know if I have one
for question. Sure. I feel like the more I talk, the more I would be like, wait, Lord, one more.
Right, exactly.
But that burning question, I really, at this point in my life, I don't have. Catch me in 5 years, I may have. Like, you know what, Lord, this has festered up to me. I don't know. But right now, it will just be kind of like, not bullshit questions, but it'll just be like, Lord, what about this? What about that? Ooh, tell me about this situation. What really happened to Emmett Till? I would have like those, like trying to under, like, God, I know the story, but what is the story? Like those would be my questions.
Right, type thing. Yeah. Same. Especially me being a history major, I would want to know all kind of shit. But
like what happened to John Bonet?
Wait. John Bonet. Wait, who was John Bonet?
Where everyone thought, where they found her body in the basement or something like that, and no one knew who killed her. Yeah. But people thought it was the dad, but then now people are saying it's the John Benet Ramsey. Yeah. I want to know, like, what happened.
Got you. Yeah.
Dead ass. Like, there's a lot of. I would have like questions regarding like death. Like, I really would, because there's a lot of mystery out there. Like, Lord, what?
Yeah. Like, what really happened to Tupac? Like,
no, that would really be one of my questions. Like, God, so was it a setup?
Right.
Tell me the tea.
It had to be a setup, right?
Girl, tell me the tea. No, for real.
I need this.
That would be me. And then the more, then other questions would come.
I think the bigger questions will come after that, for a fact too.
For sure. Yeah, but we gotta.
Yeah. Work our way up.
Literally.
Listen, but any last thoughts before we wrap? I'm like, this was a fire episode, but yes. Any last thoughts?
It was a beautiful episode. I think, this episode could be a little triggering to people, depending on like how deep you are in your religion, your spirituality with the Lord, all the above.
Right.
If you make it this far in, which I hope you do, I would encourage you to be slow to speak, quick to listen. That's also in the Bible. And also, just understand that there's a million different ways to do one thing.
Right.
And just to give grace. I think that's really the word of the year. The word of the year really is focus.
Yeah.
But in actuality, like, give grace to others and do unto others as you want done unto you. Because trust me, karma is real.
What?
God's vengeance is real. God's favor is also real.
Stop playing.
So choose what you want.
Where you want to be.
Where you want to be.
Make the choice, act accordingly.
And just know you have community, no matter what.
Big facts.
Don't end up like Billy on the streets, okay?
Listen, and on that note, y'all, we out. Peace. Not a killer, but don't push me.
Whatever she. I'm screaming.
I'm sorry.